suppose probably the take-home message for the audience from all of you. What would you like to send people home with, thinking about on this topic? What's the most important thing?
I would just say, in fact, with everybody, I think it's very encouraging that there's such a groundswell of views. I would say keep going, keep pushing, keep going, and use all the tools that you have. Use all that social media stuff to your full advantage so that it makes a difference for those organisations that get it and those that don't, whether they're business, whether they're government, whether they're aid agencies, whatever it is. Make sure that there is a differentiation between those who get it and those don't, because I think that's going to have people power and nothing will stop that.
Rob?
Yeah, I think you shouldn't underestimate the power of the individual and the power of being a customer. I think that can have amazingly powerful impacts upstream. You get this wonderful amplification effect if you influence somebody upstream within the supply chain. So use that power.
Well, as I started with talking about still power, the power of a good idea. Harriet's Fair Trade, Garvey, the Global Fund for AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, Bill Clinton's efforts in terms of bringing down so drastically the price of antiretrovirals, Oak Tree Foundation here in Australia, Generation One. There's a whole list of really great ideas, and each of them makes an enormous impact. And I just encourage you to go have a really good idea.
Harriet?
Yes, I wanted to say 2 points. I wanted to go back to the women's issue because I think that is critical. And a lot of the things that hold women back are the fact that women are still the primary carers in society. In fact, someone once said women seem to have run the right to be permanently exhausted. And I think if we're going to change the ability of women to drive change, whether in developing countries or here, a lot of that does actually start at home. And I think also starting at home is a lot of the changes that we can help generate in world trade and in the whole policy atmosphere within which government and business operates. And I want to end with a quote, actually, from one of the Mexican coffee farmers, which I think speaks to this idea of the power of an individual and of a good idea. And when he went around the mountains explaining fair trade to the coffee farmers, he used an ancient Mayan Indian saying, "Many little raindrops falling in the mountains make the mighty rivers flow." And I think that sums up the idea that each of our little actions might feel really tiny, that if you write to the government on the Doha round, or you do something from the dairy industry, but actually when it all adds up together, we can begin to really create significant shifts.
Tim?
Yeah, my message is don't trust Qantas to get you to Canberra. But aside from that, I think every speaker has really said keep hope alive, that you actually can make a difference. And as Harriet will know, saying that the chocolate we're eating is cheaper because, and the sin is because there isn't fair prices being paid. The consumer is king. We saw change here with our Don't Trade Lives and other campaigns. And that was individuals saying that this matters to me and I'm going to do something about it, and I'm starting right here. So keeping hope alive on those issues, I think, is very important.
So thank you all tonight for coming in, and thank Harriet Lamb, Rob Coombs, Anne-Marie O'Keefe, Andrew Stevens and Tim Costello, and hope you've enjoyed tonight.